The thrifting wasn't great this week, but I did find a couple of things that I absolutely wanted to share with you guys. So we're going to do a quick video because I have questions and I hope you have answers. I'm Michelle with Michelle's Romantic Tangle, and I am so happy that our local thrift shops are starting to open up again. I have really missed them a lot. And stopping and seeing what interesting vintage there is, it's always a highlight of my week. So I'm glad to have this little tiny bit of normalcy back. I'm not going much else. Do you know what these figurines are? There was a large collection of them. I have never seen anything like them, and we couldn't find any markings that would be helpful and tell us what they were. Somebody had obviously loved these and kept them for years. They're maybe loved them enough to glue them back together after their necks were snapped off. They're just like nothing I have ever seen before, and I'm incredibly curious. This shop always has bears, and I always blame that one estate sale from several years ago, although I know they have to have cycled through all of them by now. I like this little lion. He just screams old children's book illustration. And he was one of my favorite finds of the day. Bar for favorite finds was admittedly not very high on this trip. I used to work in a used bookstore in the mid 80s, and now and then a book will catch my attention that I haven't thought of this book in 30 years, but as soon as I saw it, it brought back memories of the bookstore, and for a dime, maybe I should have brought it home to preserve the memories, although I've read so many books about Lizzie Borden, I probably don't need to read another at this point. They had, this time the cross-stitch books were mixed in with the auto repair manuals because that must have made sense to someone. This is that same store where I did a video back in, must have been early March, and I was sitting on the floor looking through the cross-stitch books, not at all worried about germs. Times have changed, although I still think the floor of the thrift store is probably not a place you're going to get a fatal disease. I flipped through quickly. They did have a little bit of cross stitch and a lot of that random craft stuff that all the thrift stores have. That is a pretty sampler, and I did not register when I was holding it in my hands how pretty it was. I don't know why not. We're going to go back maybe next week, time permitting, to see if they've marked down those figurines so my son can buy a few more of them. He wanted the big ones, but they were a little more than he was willing to spend. So if I go back and that sampler is still there, I might take a second look at it. I have seen these color point pamphlets all over for years, and it finally occurred to me when I was looking at this one, it's like cross stitch with liquid paint or diamond painting, and now I'm more confused than ever about the concept. There's another nativity that would have been a possibility if I ever decide to sew one. Still don't think the odds are very high, but they're out there and I seem to keep stumbling across them. That's another magazine that I'd never seen before, so maybe that's a sign that I need to keep looking. This needlepoint was my favorite piece of the day. I hate how it's framed because that glass obscures all the gorgeous stitches. Love the colors, love the subject matter. It just made me smile. There was a Precious Moments. I swear that every Precious Moment cross stitch I see is framed the exact same way. And somebody's carefully framed crochet. That was a pretty piece. Don't love the frame. Thank you for watching. I am Michelle from Michelle's Romantic Tangle, and that is about it for this thrifting expedition. I tried to find pretty things, but there just wasn't much to be found on this trip. Hopefully we'll have better luck soon.